Waiting on YouTube. Okay. Almost there, guys.
Angie's in the back.
Almost there, guys.
Angie's in the back.
Hello, and welcome to Scripts Gone Wild, your first and only stop for drunken literary debauchery. I am your host, Billy Ray Bruton, and with me, once again, stepping into the liquor-soaked boots of our normal co-host, Dave Lawson, is his replacement co-host yet again from the Screen Drafts podcast, Mr. Clay Keller. Clay, tell me, what comes to your mind when you think of Mommie Dearest?
When I think of Mommie Dearest, well, I'll tell you what, Billy Ray, you assigned me this task relatively late in the game. And I feel comfortable saying, I've never seen Gone with the Wind. I've never seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but I consider Mommie Dearest my biggest cinematic hole.
Oh, you've never seen it?
Ask me again at the end of this if I've seen Mommie Dearest, and I will have formed opinions based solely on the performances of our readers this evening. So if you weren't feeling the pressure yet,
you're in trouble.
Is definitely some now. But I do also know that we recently did a Screen Drafts episode about films that are about mothers and daughters, and I think somewhat controversially, Mommie Dearest did not make the cut from our drafters. So I'm very curious to see if that was a correct decision or not.
Well, of course it wasn't correct. Mommie Dearest should be on every list, regardless of what it is. So if you haven't figured it out already and you're still here watching this, you must, I don't know why, but you're here to watch Mommie Dearest. We were racking our brains on something outside the box to tackle for Gay Pride Month, and we thought, what better than Mommie Dearest? And we assembled a group of folks that I am insanely excited about, and I'm going to introduce them right now. Just wave at the viewing audience at home when I call your name. We have Mr. Charles Busch.
Yes.
Al Shores. Josh Grinnell. Aurora Sexton. Rico Anderson. Brian Howe. Dan Sugimoto, Chloe Dworkin, Darrin Navarro, Luke Forbes, Chuck Duck, and Saxon Murrell Wilkinson. Welcome, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you so much for doing this, helping us raise money for the Trevor Project, which is an awesome organization. If you guys don't know about it at home, they do some amazing stuff with LGBTQ plus youth all across the country, and they have for a long time now. And now, or throughout the read, you can make a donation at thetrevorproject.org/donate. Clay, what's that link again?
The one you just said?
Yeah. What's that?
thetrevorproject.org/donate.
That's right. And Clay's going to be reminding you to make donations throughout the read. And if you make a donation, screenshot it. You can post it to any of our socials, or you can post it on the YouTube chat. We'll take a look at those at the end, and the person who makes the single biggest donation will get a Joan Crawford prize pack, which includes Blu-rays of Mildred Pierce, Berserk, and Johnny Guitar.
Whoa.
So that's kind of a cool thing. If you love those films, who doesn't love Johnny Guitar?
I'm donating right now.
That's right. And you should be doing it at home too. Make that donation, thetrevorproject.org/donate. So have all of our readers seen Mommie Dearest before?
Yeah.
Numerous times.
Okay, Luke hasn't, but everybody
I
else
haven't.
seems- Oh, Chloe hasn't. Oh,
Sorry.
we've got some newbies. You're in for a treat. That's exciting. And for you guys at home who don't know how it works, I'm going to go over the rules for you. Scripts Gone Wild is a drinking game. If any of our readers mess up a line, miss a cue, basically if they do anything that we can construe as a mistake, they have to take a drink. We also choose, or we have our social media followers choose what we call social words. Anytime those words are read by a reader in the script, everybody has to take a drink. And those words for tonight are darling and Hollywood. So if you hear those words, that means that someone should be taking a drink for having said them. It doesn't count if I say it during the stage direction. It only counts if the readers say it. We also have what we call a finish your drink line. I hear something in someone's
Sorry,
background.
it's Ben.
Well, tell him to turn that down. We also have what we call a finish your drink line, where our Patreon subscribers choose their favorite line from the film. And whenever that line is reached in the script, everyone has to finish whatever drink is in their hand, whether it's a fresh pour or just a couple of sips. And the line for tonight is no more wire hangers. There were a lot of good options there.
Anything else, Billy Ray?
I mean, I was kind of hoping for I either don't fuck with me, fellas, or I think it's I'm faster and something and I will always beat you. Those are
I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the dirt.
That's right. That's a classic.
Actually, Billy, I think the line is no wire hangers.
Yeah, I was just checking that. It's no wire hangers.
I don't think
Oh, okay. I added a more. I'm sorry. I added a more. My apologies. No. What is that sound? Someone's got a sound going on.
That would be the Predator.
Yeah, someone's got a weird sound going on. Okay, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, does anyone have any questions before we get going?
I don't have any questions, Billy. I would just like to say good luck or break a leg, rather, to all of our readers. And if we are shouting at you about drinking, do not take it personally. It is my and Billy Ray's job to do this. We're not trying to fuck with your performance. This is the hellscape that Billy Ray has brought you into. So just embrace it and go full tilt.
That's good words of wisdom, Clay. Okay, then. Well, if no one has any questions, this is a long script. We might as well dive into it, everybody.
Let's go.
Mommie Dearest. Fade in. Joan's bathroom, 1938. Lots of close-ups here. A hand turns a light switch in the darkened bathroom. That same hand plunges one end of an electric cord into a wall socket and starts curling. A large electric clock reads 4:15. Birds chirp in the darkness outside. Two hands turn on steamy hot water from a fancy gold tap. Two hands open a refrigerator, remove a canister of ice cubes and a bottle of distilled water. Those same hands empty ice cubes into a large, elegant porcelain bowl and place it into the steamy basin. The coffee begins to perk. The same hands pour the water over the ice cubes and sprinkle rock salt to make it cooler. The hands become furiously scrubbing soap and water with a scrub brush. Those same hands come up to Joan's face. This is our first view of Joan Crawford. Joan, like the coffee, is perking furiously. The hands, which are now rinsed, plunge into the bowl of ice. The hands lift the water over the face. They continue to roll as Joan comes out of her house and gets into the back seat of a waiting studio limousine. In the back seat of the limo, not letting a minute go to waste, she begins signing autographs of 8x10 photos. Yours always, Joan Crawford. The car winds its way through the sleepy streets and pulls in through the metro gates. The lot isn't yet alive. The car pulls up and Jones gets out and moves across a vast stage which contains an enormous ice rink. This is the set for Ice Follies of 1939. It is still 1.5 hours before the crew calls the empty stage. Joan continues to her own stage dressing room. She steps into the dressing room and starts getting made up. Takes off her coat and blouse. Like drones buzzing around the queen or handlers preparing a racehorse or prize fighter, the three go to work on the star. Her makeup begins applying. Then we're on the soundstage. A production number for the Ice Follies is approaching its climax, and Joan, skating well, leads a team of costumed women skaters who whirl behind her in difficult ice number. The conceit is battle. The skaters wear sexy toy soldier costumes. Joan leads a gymnastic battle. The action increases. A series of cuts with an impending accident. A skater's epaulet. I don't know if that's the way you pronounce that. Epaulet?
Epaulette.
Epaulette. That makes sense. Thank you, Murrell. Epaulette comes loose, dangles by a thread. This is established.
I'm kidding.
Oh, God damn.
I swear to God. We're 2 pages in, Brian.
Yeah. Joan is skating and stops. Several quick cuts. She takes a terrible spill, windmilling across the ice, landing in a crumpled heap. The number is cut immediately. In the dressing room, Joan is in great pain. She is stretched out on a chaise. An arm of calamity is an arm. Okay, well, I fucked that up. An air of calamity is elsewhere. Her dresser, her maid, the film's director, Ted Ames, and a trainer hover anxiously. Joan, as all eyes turn on the producer, he closes the door gently. He kneels compassionately beside her.
Joni,
Drink.
You're a great start.
Coming in hot, baby. Drink.
Joni, pain, dear girl, pain, lots of pain.
I'd say it hurts, Brian.
Face to face, their clasped hands between them as she kneels there.
Relax, take it easy. Brian's here. Doc? Doc?
We need an X-ray. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Possible fracture, Mr. Gold. Drink. I thought I was later in the script. Sorry.
Me too.
We need an X-ray.
Very possible.
We need an X-ray.
Past Joan and Brian Gold. He still holds a hand to comfort her as she stands up to face the doctor.
Say, we're lucky, Doc. When can she go on again?
2-3 weeks, depending.
Joan, who watches now in a totally different way. Brian is shooting everyone out.
Everybody, please, 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 please.
Never losing Joan as Brian closes the door behind him. The door is shut. Brian is facing Joan, who very slowly, always watching him, leans back against her clustered pillows. The doctor observes quietly from across the room.
Let me think out loud for you. We're only 4 days into the picture. We can start over with Betty Grable. Insurance will cover the loss. The cast is set. The skaters are rehearsed. We're in business. I can still have my picture. Always wanted Grable anyway. I went with Crawford because I couldn't say no. I'll smile at her. I'll hold her hand. And I'll dump her. How am I doing?
Facts.
He gets up. He's there. He's being polite, but he's on his way. He's going, and in his mind, she's gone.
You'll get lots of sympathy, letters, fan mail, lots of press to cover you. LB will say, it's a great loss.
Bullshit. I'm not getting dumped from this picture.
Talk to it, not me. What?
Where the hell are you going?
I can't hide this from LB.
For Christ's sakes, Brian!
What choice have I got?
You're not throwing me off the picture. No one's replacing me. I'll get out there, we'll do the wide shot, and after that, you can put me on a platform with blades, and you can do the tight stuff and move me around below the frame line. You got Novocaine?
Wait a minute.
Brian, you want your picture made? Get down on the set and tell Ted I'll be there in a half hour. And Brian, I'll skate the hell out of it.
Brian exits. Joan turns to the doctor, who is preparing the injection.
You're only buying a few hours. I think you're hurt pretty bad.
I'll take what I can get.
Later, Joan makes her entrance from the dressing room in fierce pain, limping badly. Word is spread like wildfire so that a number of people from other productions, including actors in various costumes, have come to witness what has potential to be a major moment in Metro's history and Crawford's career. Crawford, playing the heroine to the hilt, stops and asks solicitously about members of the crew. God damn it. Walking gingerly as if nothing unusual had happened. She's doing stiff upper lip with a vengeance. It's not difficult to see why every stagehand she ever worked with adores her. She passed camera crew, gives them a big smile. She moves out to the mark on the ice. The rest of the cast and dress extras are all in place worshipfully. A great silence falls on the set.
We'll try to get it in one take, Joan.
Do it until it's right.
The great Crawford gives him a wink, and the Hollywood litany begins. Quiet on the set. Let's have bells, camera, slate it, playback. The music cart starts and comes to speed. Now finally, action. And Joan is skating, and Joan has never been better. She is extraordinary, fighting through the pain, super conscious of her audience, transported by the admiration of all who are witnessing her courage. The number finishes. And there is rapturous applause. Lights, emptiness, the big doors open, strange shadows, the eerie sense of unknown space. Only Joan's dressing room is lit now. Like ants, a wheelchair is lifted out of Joan's dressing room. Two powerful grips set the wheelchair down gently, with Ted and the trainer nearby. All men, the women are gone. Joan wears a coat over her shoulders. Her bare ankle is stretched out and packed in ice.
Who's out there?
Nobody.
Any word from Brian or Mayor?
No.
You call?
You told me not to.
It's damn quiet around here.
New headlights suddenly appear and a chauffeured car stops behind the one waiting for Joan. A door opens and closes on the shadows, and as the little entourage reaches the edge of the stage, a voice comes out of the shadows.
Joan.
Greg.
She bursts into tears, and everybody fades slowly as a man appears out of the shadow.
Excuse us a minute, please.
Greg Savitt is a top labor lawyer, currently at the height of his power. He's rugged, handsome, virile, and exudes self-confidence and self-esteem. In short, a formidable figure and an important player on the Hollywood scene, impeccably dressed as well.
Why did I have to hear from a friend?
He wants to dump me from the picture.
Who?
Mayor.
I've already talked to Mayor. He'll wait if he has to.
She is startled. She is pleased. She is triumphant. She seizes him and kisses him, which he ignores and touches the ice around her foot.
How bad?
Oh, it's not broken. It's twisted, ripped, something.
LB said if some of his male stars had your balls, MGM would be a lot richer.
Then why do I get the bad scripts?
I didn't leave an important conference to come here and discuss your acting career. I'm here because I was worried.
Her emotional color changes like a chameleon. Now she's all tender, loving, touching, deeply moved.
Come home with me?
I have to get back to my business.
After.
After.
What time?
When I get there.
I'll be waiting for you.
As Joan's limousine nears the main gate, Joan is in the back seat with her bandaged leg resting on a satin cushion in front of her on the jump seat. As the limo passes the gate, a cluster of fans, several holding signs, "We love you, Joan," are lined up along the drive, waving and calling to their idol. The limousine passes them.
Jim, stop.
Miss Crawford, you're hurt. I have to get you home.
Please stop. Those are my fans.
Jim backs the car up a few yards. Joan rolls down her window and the fans press forward, several thrusting autograph books through the window. The famous Crawford smile as she begins to sign. One fan in particular is prominent in the window.
Carolandia, not again. What do you do with these? Trade them? Yes, they're like...
Here, Billy Ray.
Oh, that was one of the. I'm sorry, that was one of those that I would normally skip. I apologize.
No. You in the email you have Carol Ann, Mrs. Morgan, woman, Jenny, executive number 3, all assigned to someone named TBD.
I know, but that should be Aurora.
No, Carol Ann. Sorry.
Oh, very good.
Miss Crawford, I would never do that. I saved them, every single autograph you ever gave me.
That's lovely.
We've heard about the accident and how brave and wonderful you were today.
Thank you, Carol Ann.
If only we could help you. If I could...
That is so dear of you. So dear. Jim, please help Carol Ann to the front seat. I'd like her to come home with me.
Brentwood, north of Sunset. Hollywood Wonderland tours. See the home of the stars. The bus works its way to the interior to reveal 15 or 20 tour customers, all dressed in their touristy 1939 best. They are spellbound as they listen to bored bus driver tour guide.
Here on our left, just ahead, the palatial home of movie queen Joan Crawford, whose new movie Ice Follies in 1939 is currently playing in your own hometowns.
The bus moves in front of Joan's house.
Miss Crawford was first married to movie star Douglas Fairbanks Jr.
It stops.
And is just recently divorced from her second husband, actor French Tone something. Miss Crawford has made over 48 films since coming to Hollywood. In 1920, 4-3-5 as a chorus girl, Lucille Lasua.
A man appears.
Pardon me, young man. That's Lucille Lesser.
Yeah. Right. Right.
He puts the bus in gear and starts to move on towards the next attraction. In the Crawford home, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It's gone past the elaborate Christmas wreath on the front door and in the living room. The backside of an industrious cleaning woman who is hard at work scrubbing the black and white marble floor of the entrance hall. Now, the last of the bus drivers spiel.
Yes, sir, as I was saying, Joan Crawford is one of Hollywood's most popular stars.
Great.
She's truly a queen of the silver screen
Great.
for many years. Okay, fine.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Her life is the epitome of glamour and elegance.
We've now discovered the sweat-soaked cleaning lady is none other than the mistress of the house. She is in a pair of cotton work pants, and she's working the soapy brush in a series of tight hand swirls. We get the feeling that the floor is already immaculate, but she wants it cleaner. After a beat, Helga the maid appears, walking gingerly over the gleaming floor.
Yes?
Finished in the dining room, Miss Crawford.
Caroline?
Joan and Helga pass the sparkling foyer into the dining room. Carol Ann joins them. There is an immense formal room, quite Greek revival in feeling. It was built to the specifications of the young Eastern aristocrat.
Everything seems in order.
He crosses the dining room and goes to an enormous potted tree in the corner.
Joan?
Joan. Chew Joan.
I think he's frozen.
Oh, is Charles frozen?
Oh, did Charles freeze?
Across the floor, you have to move. Don't do this job. There are plenty of other maids who would love to work for Joan Crawford. You see, Caroline, you have to stay on top of it every single minute.
I'm sorry I missed it, Miss Crawford. It won't happen again.
Ding dong.
I'll get it, Caroline. Make sure she does it properly.
Joan crosses back through the hall to the front door. She pauses in front of a mirror and takes a moment to check her appearance and tuck in a wisp of hair. It's Greg.
Greg, darling.
Drink.
Drink.
You're early.
Just an hour and a half.
Come in. Take off your shoes. I just cleaned that floor.
Should I take off my socks?
I can handle the socks.
No, we'll finish up in the kitchen.
Joan standing up, slowly dropping off one of her shoes and then the other. There is a tantalizing smile as she backs away from him, turns and starts towards the stairs. At the stairs, she unbuttons her blouse and discards it. He drops his jacket on the clean marble floor. Joan starts up the stairs nice and easy. She is moving with exquisite command and sensual grace. Greg's face is expressionless. She stops again and slips out of her slacks, dropping them over the banister. He takes off his tie and his shirt.
Catch up.
Now she continues up on the stairs, followed by Greg, but at the top she turns and removes her bra with great grace and make-believe shyness of hide and seek. He removes his socks and leaves them there.
I'm running out of clothes.
Joan stands, her back to is slipping out of her pants, so she is nude.
You're not going to need them.
Through the bedroom with whole Christmas presents for the orphanage seem to come, into the dressing room, and finally the shower. In the Catholic orphanage, the backyard of a classy orphan's home, Joan is sitting on a throne-like chair holding a 2-year-old child on her lap as flashbulbs pop. Joan is radiant. This script really loves Joan. To reveal lots of tiny tots and nuns lined up with a rosy mother superior smiling beatifically at the proceedings. Greg, like a prime minister, is slightly to the rear of her majesty. She's basically playing with orphans, y'all.
Miss Crawford, words cannot express our gratitude for your happiness you bring our children.
Joan's eyes are moist. Graciously, she helps one child off her lap and reaches for the next.
It's one of the things I look forward to every Christmas.
As the new orphan settles into place and flashbulbs pop, Joan is looking with intensity and feeling at the child's guileless face. In Escondido Beach, a lovely deserted strand of beach, Greg and Joan walk along.
You know what's missing in my life?
A hit movie?
Bastard.
Come on. You've got everything you want.
No, I don't. I want a baby.
A baby?
You know I've always wanted a kid.
You're too vain to be pregnant.
Vain? You know how many miscarriages I had with Francho? 7. Damn it, I tried. I'm going to adopt one.
Out of the question.
What's that mean?
It means no agency would give you a baby.
How do you know?
I'm a lawyer.
Bend the law.
Bend the law? You're an actress. You've been divorced twice. Adoption agencies are brutal. Besides, a baby needs a father.
A father? A father? I grew up without a father. I grew up with a mother who changed husbands like you change bed sheets.
Maybe you could. One thing's not certain. You'd sure get a lot of publicity. One thing's certain, you'd sure get a lot of publicity.
Take a drink, though.
You miserable bastard. All anyone in Hollywood can ever think of is publicity. Box office, movies, scripts. How could you hope to understand a woman?
The adoption agency. Joan's hands gently reach for the baby. Joan lifts him out of the crib, holding it in her arms. And next she stands to a young nurse who watches Joan with awe. She holds the baby, smiling and whispering.
You dear, dear thing. Look at her hands. So perfect. You're tiny. Let me see now. What would be a good name for you? I'd like to call you Joan Jr. Well, they don't do that with girls, do they?
Beth Simpson enters. She is a social worker with the adoption agency. She's about 45, conscientious, and smart.
What is she doing in here?
She said you.
Miss Crawford, your appointment was in my office, and you should know better.
Mrs. Simpson, it's not her fault. It's my fault.
And now they're in her office.
I have some difficult news for you, Miss Crawford. The agency has denied your application for adoption.
How could they?
I understand your disappointment.
Why would they?
Well, you live alone and there are no other family members in the home. You have 2 previous divorces. You're a busy, active woman. You travel a lot, and the candidate is recommended as unsuitable.
Joan is up, grabbing the folder, staring at it.
Miss Crawford!
How dare you?
Please.
Throws the folder.
Who the hell do you think you're talking to? You can't judge me.
We have a moral and legal responsibility in this job.
To whom? Obviously, you don't understand. What you're really doing is denying one of your orphans the opportunity to have a wonderful and advantaged life. How sad that is. Good afternoon.
Living room of the Brentwood home. Joan dresses to the teeth, smoking furiously. Greg, amused, sits casually in a chair watching her.
Do I look all right? Am I dressed all right?
Oh, for Christ's sake.
I want to be perfect.
The kid is 2 months old. It's not going to know.
I know. Why are they here?
Greg fixes a drink.
Don't drink. I don't want whiskey on your breath.
God damn it, Joan. I got you the baby. It's yours. You have it.
I know.
Ding dong.
They're here.
As Greg and Joan move to the living room, Carol Ann opens the front door to reveal a doctor and nurse. The nurse is carrying the infant, Christina. Greg and the doctor stand back. Joan is frozen in her steps. As always, a master performer, she plays the moment to the hilt.
Beautiful. She's so beautiful.
Reverentially, she slowly approaches the family, gently, delicately takes her from the nurse's arms as though the tiny bundle was in fact the Holy Grail.
Oh, Greg, how beautiful she is. How beautiful. My child, my own daughter.
Greg, moved and embarrassed, goes to Joan and gently touches her. In the nursery, it is wildly overdecorated, precisely what you would expect. Metro's art department really did their job. Greg enters room, stops in the doorway, admiring the new mother holding her child, and overhears.
My beautiful little baby. I'm going to give you all the things I never had. I'm going to make a perfect life for me and my little daughter.
Aware of Greg's presence in the doorway, she turns to him, and Greg moves to Joan and speaks softly to Christina.
You're a lucky little girl and very expensive. You cost me a lot of favors.
Joan is hugging the baby tight, almost too tight.
Call her Christina. Christina Crawford, my darling daughter. My own Christina Crawford.
Drink! Backyard of the Brentwood house. Tina is 7 now, a spinning mini carousel loaded with laughing children. As the faces whirl past, there are Joan and her daughter Tina dressed in identical gingham dresses and pinafores. Each time God damn it. Each time Joan and Tina pass, the cameras click. Christina's 7th birthday party extravaganza underway. There is a pony ride, the handler dressed in a hobo costume, and he leads children around on 2 Shetland ponies. A clown is surrounded by half a dozen children as he juggles and balances things on his big red nose. Photographers abound. Among the guests are a dozen or so perfectly turned out Hollywood youngsters, along with assorted mothers. We also see prominent in their awkward discomfort several enlisted men in the armed forces. They've clearly been invited as window dressing.
Are you having a happy birthday, Tina, darling?
This is the best party I ever had. I love you, Mommy.
Drink on, darling.
Drink. Billy Ray, did you want to take your 8 p.m. break?
Oh, yeah, guys, we clap at 8 p.m. for the medical workers. Thank you, Clay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we clap for the medical and healthcare and the essential workers. Yes, big claps, big claps.
And Billy Ray, for anybody who joined us after the first few minutes, I want to remind everybody that tonight's read is to benefit the Trevor Project. We encourage everyone to go to thetrevorproject.org/donate. They are a group that's been around for over 20 years now, providing life-saving services for LGBTQ youth who are in crisis. They have a counseling hotline and provide other mental health services. So a really important organization and more than worthy of your donation dollars. And Billy Ray, if I'm not mistaken, you said that people can donate and then snap a screenshot of that donation receipt and post it to the social media handles, which you will tell everybody what they are. And then the person with the largest donation gets a prize pack. Was that correct?
That's correct. Of 3 Blu-rays of Johnny Guitar, Berserk, and Mildred Pierce.
And what are the social media handles for Scripts Gone Wild?
At Scripts Gone Wild.
On Twitter and Instagram?
Yep, and / Scripts Gone Wild on Facebook.
Beautiful.
Boom. Back into the action as the photographers snap away and Joan steps lightly off to join the watchers. Among them, Carol Ann holding little Christopher and a group of worshipful GIs. Joan takes Christopher, her second adopted child, who is an angelic-looking 1-year-old. She is smiling happily as she poses for the photographers while chatting with the enlisted men.
This is Christopher, my second child. I would adopt every unwanted child in the world. No one should be unwanted. Heaven knows life is difficult enough when you are wanted.
The carousel halts, laughing children. Christina is joined a group of her friends by the side of the pool. A look of concern crosses her face as Christina draws close to the edge of the pool. Joan hands the baby Christopher to Carol Ann.
Time for Christmas nap. Ask Honey to tuck him in properly.
Not missing a beat and with a radiant smile for the photographer, she calls to Christina.
Christina, darling, not too near the edge.
Drink. Christina smiles and begins to run towards her mother as photographers snap away. She flings herself into Joan's arms. A big hug. Photographers take the photos. A second photographer comes towards them. Christina follows them with her eyes, but holds the mother-daughter pose, maintaining her wide smile.
And Christina in the rose garden, Ms. Crawford.
Mr. Robot.
Murrell, why don't you give us that one again? You were a little stuttery on that one.
Virtually stuttery.
I'm Murrell.
Come back.
Is Murrell frozen? Murrell's frozen. Okay.
He's slushy.
We're going to keep going until he resumes consciousness.
May I read his part? Okay.
Let's see.
Should I continue?
Yes. Go ahead with that line again, Murrell.
I think Murrell's gone.
Murrell's gone.
Could we get some of you and Christine in the rose garden, Miss Crawford?
I've got a spot.
That won't show, Christina.
I'll just run upstairs and have Nanny take care of it.
No, you'll stay down here because Jimmy's ready. Actually, Miss Crawford, it might read.
Christina looks angelically up at her mother, savoring her victory.
Perhaps you're right, Jimmy. Run along. Have Nanny see to it. We'll be in the rose garden.
Okay, it looks like Murrell has joined us again. In the Rose Garden, the birthday celebration continues in the background while Joan and Christina are frozen in position in the Rose Garden. Christina is holding a straw basket and looking up at Joan, who is reaching out to cut a rose with slippers. Slippers. I hear something in somebody's background. Does someone have the thing playing?
Sounds like a police scanner.
It does sound like a police scanner. Okay, we're gonna pretend like that, but hey, it's just gonna be part of the
Everybody turn off your police scanner, okay?
I think Murrell's still frozen.
Well, so should we just keep reading his lines? Or
Yeah. Someone should just, whoever was reading,
All right, I'll
just
do
keep
it.
reading them.
Good, that's great. Reach for a high flower, Christina, and look at Mommy.
The photographer gets down in a crouching position and focuses on Christina.
That's great. Oh, she's fabulous. A real natural.
Joan is holding the straw basket, realizing she is no longer the center of attention. She breaks her pose. The enthusiastic photographer is now snapping solo pictures of Christina.
That's enough, Christina. Run along and play with your little friends, darling. After all, she's only a child, Jimmy. Let her enjoy her birthday.
The studio said they'd like some good stuff when she blows out the candles.
Yes, of course.
In Christina's room, the arena has been redone. Now it's every young girl's dream, dominated by a pink 4-poster bed. Christopher's crib is against the wall. Christina is sitting on her bed with unwrapped presents surrounding her. A particularly large doll, which she holds on her lap.
She's so beautiful. What should I name her?
You like her best?
Oh, yes.
And that's the present you can keep. The rest you'll take to the poor children who don't have anything. And tomorrow we'll do our thank you. I better take a drink here.
Oh!
And tomorrow we'll do our thank you notes.
Oh.
Christina's face falls.
You can pick one for Christopher, though.
Greg appears in the doorway holding his present for Christina. She quickly unwraps the small box. It's a beautiful gold charm bracelet.
Happy birthday, darling.
Drink.
Oh, Uncle Greg, it's just what I wanted. I love it. But you see, I'm keeping only one present. All the rest I'm going to give to the poor orphans who don't have anything.
Christina looks to Joan for approval. She cross-sits with Christina on the bed with Christopher in her arms.
I've already read that in the papers, and it's wonderful. So I'll keep it for you until you don't have to choose. Thought a long time about this before I picked it for you.
Joan puts her arm around Christina.
This time, we'll just make an exception. And you can keep the bracelet and the doll.
Oh, Mommy Dearest.
Now, remember what I told you about adopted children?
Adopted children are luckiest because they were chosen.
Right, darling. Shall we sing our song for Christopher? When at night I go to sleep,
14 angels guard my sleep.
The Brentwood pool. The remains of lunch at a table set up near it. Greg and Joan are at the table, both watching Tina, who is at the pool getting ready to dive. Carol Ann plays with little Chris, who is harnessed and controlled by a long rein. Joan is wearing a short white terry cloth robe, a swimsuit, her fabulous legs, and ankle-strap sandals. Greg's in street clothes. Christina is perched on the edge of the pool, her arms out behind her, bent over in preparation to dive.
You keep arching your back. You mustn't do that, okay? 1, 2, 3, dive!
But I'm tired, Mommy.
Quitter! Good, now 1, 2, 3, dive! Better?
She's only a kid.
So was I. Only a kid. And I learned early. Grew up too goddamn fast. Gotta know how to compete and win. I don't want her growing up a spoiled Hollywood brat just because she's Crawford's daughter.
Drink.
Hollywood.
Oh, sure.
Oh, Hollywood. Good catch.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, good catch. Okay. Lovely, isn't it?
Big bucks.
Oh, yes. It's been a great Sunday. Home with a star.
Hardly ever nice days like this.
I've got an appointment.
Call, you run.
Who calls and I run?
You're here, you're not here. You're in my life, you're not in my life. It drives me crazy. I don't want you to go.
Then act that way. Who calls and I run?
Nobody.
Then why do you say that?
Because I'm damn mad with you.
Why?
because you haven't delivered the one good script I've seen this year. You could help me.
Joan, that's mayor's business. I never tell a man I respect how to run his business.
I want it. I need a big budget hit. My fans need a big budget hit from me. And that picture's going to be a hit.
How do you know?
My God, I'm an actress. Look at me. I need a big change now. And all I have is a plastic face, great legs, and LB Mayor written all over my ass. You gotta help, Greg.
I'm not your agent. I'm your lover. So don't ask me as a favor to be your agent. You want that script? Get it. You're an alley cat. Fight.
I have fought.
Fight harder.
They think I'm slipping.
Are you?
No.
So?
Yes.
Fight harder or give up, but don't attack someone who cares about you.
I just want that picture. I want you too.
You got me.
He walks
Have
off.
a good time, Tina.
Thanks, Uncle Greg. I love you.
Now, who wants to go swimming?
I do.
I'll race you.
The pool area. Joan and Christina are side by side in the water, holding on the pool's edge with one hand and staring fixedly across at the other end. Christina is totally concentrated. Carol Ann stands at the far end. Carol Ann?
Oh, there you go. Sorry, I froze. On your marks, get set, go!
We assume she is letting her daughter get a head start so she can win, but when Joan pushes off, her expression is as determined as the child. Joan is a strong swimmer and quickly reaches Christina and plows right on past her, traversing the pool's length in a dozen powerful strokes. Christina reaches the edge, pulls her head out of the water, and looks crestfallen when she sees her mother is already there.
Again, I'll give you a bigger head start.
Christina nods and her expression brightens. She assumes that she will win this time and that her mother was just teasing. Carol Ann moves back to the shallow end of the pool.
On your mark, get set, go!
Christina pushes off. Joan gives her the bigger head start she promised and then pushes her off, and using every ounce of her strength, she swims full speed towards the other end. Christina is swamped by the wake of waves. Her mother leads behind.
You lost again?
That's not fair. You're bigger than I am. It's not fair to win twice.
Nobody ever said life was fair, Christina. And bigger and faster, I can always beat you.
Well, then I'm not going to play with you anymore. Ever.
Don't you ever use that tone with me, miss. Who do you think you're talking to? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to march yourself to your room and stay in there until I tell you to come out.
No, I won't.
She grabs her.
I won't go. I won't go. I won't go.
She
You can
grabs her
stay
and
here until you're ready to behave and to apologize.
slams the door. Joan's bedroom. The room is dark. It's 5 a.m. and there are the isolated sounds of a couple of birds chirping. The alarm
line is until page 90.
And she shuts it off and turns on the bedside lamp.
30.
She lies there for another minute. He takes off the eye shade and cringes at the light.
Can you turn that second light on too?
In a brief reprise of the opening title sequence, Joan leans over a sing. I mean, is someone speaking in the background?
Guys, we can hear you.
I don't want to try.
Yeah, we can hear that.
Daniel, you should mute.
Have my mic on?
Reading is falling apart.
Your mic's on.
Yeah.
Scene. Basically, guys, Joan's getting ready again. We're cutting down.
Daniel, drink the rest of his drink.
Yeah, drink the rest of your drink, Daniel. Scene 39. The sun is barely illuminating a lushy green tree-lined street, a long shot of the peaceful street with sleeping houses on either side. The nose of Joan's Cadillac convertible appears through the fog at the far end. We recognize Crawford doing vigorous road work, keeping pace with her car and driver.
What?
We're at the top of page 39 on the script.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Am I right?
Yeah, it should be this 5 a.m. crap should be the line.
Okay. This 5 a.m. crap sure doesn't get any easier.
Your fans should know the price you pay.
What good is it when Mayor keeps sticking me with losers? I'm the biggest female star that bastard's ever had, and he's burying me alive.
The Cadillac drives in and Joan trots ahead of it through the driveway to the rear of the house, through a gate and into the kitchen. She arrives sweating, exhausting. Helga hands her a towel, which she wraps around her shoulders and head while she drinks a tall glass of orange juice.
Where's Tina?
She'll be down in a minute, Miss Crawford.
Eat everything, darling.
Drink. Oh. Carol Ann comes in from outside.
Oh, God, my muscles.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello? Oh, yes, sir. Miss Crawford.
What? Who? At this time?
It's Mr. Savitt.
Greg, dear.
Hello, Joan.
Something wrong?
Why?
What's so early?
I talked to you earlier.
In bed, not on the telephone. What is it? You all right?
Checking to see if you're on time in your training schedule. You in shape?
The bad news, no. Is it me or you? Oh.
What in the world?
What in the hell is that sound?
Anyway, moving on.
Gremlins?
We had a sudden little labor problem, so we had a sudden little early meeting. By the way, Mayor thinks you'd be terrific in the picture.
Greg?
Tried to talk him out of it, but I couldn't. Bye.
Greg! I have it! I have it!
She lets go and dances around, wheeling and leaping. The women watch Joan taking the stairs 2 at a time with excitement. She opens Christina's door.
Tina, darling, great news!
Drink! Joan's dressing room. Christina is dressed for school. She is seated at Joan's elaborate vanity table, brushing her hair, doing a devastatingly accurate parody of her mother, posing and smiling.
Oh, yes. It was thrilling. I'm so very grateful to all of you who made me a star.
She holds her hairbrush, admiring it like an award. And absorbing the scene is Joan, which like a violent acid dissolves her triumph into defeat and frustrated fury. Suddenly, Joan appears in the mirror behind Christina.
What are you doing?
Mommy.
Who do you think you are?
Nobody, Mommy. I was just playing.
Why do you insist on spending so much time in front of the mirror? Why? Answer me!
Because you do?
Out of the buried rage of every soul, a flame of death leaps free in Joan.
Don't!
Opens the drawer and grabs a pair of scissors.
Yes, oh right, scissors.
Don't!
You're vain and spoiled. You refuse to listen or obey.
She hacks at the hair.
No, Mommy, please. I'll never do it again. I promise.
Spoiled. I've let you spoil.
Joan continues to chop. In the elementary school, Joan is seated across from the principal, Mr. Thompson.
But Christina said.
Tina has a vivid imagination. Why would you make up such a story, darling?
Drink.
It's true.
Tina, really. She tells herself stories and comes to believe them. It's my fault, really. I work in a world of make-believe. It's capturing for children.
It's true.
There's a difference between make-believe and the truth. Now tell Mr. Thompson who cut your hair. Tell him the truth. I won't be angry. I understand, Tina.
Christina hesitates. She looks from the mother to the principal, down to the floor, then back at them. Both look so large to her, so powerful.
I did. I cut it.
That's my good girl. Now I think Mr. Thompson and I deserve an apology.
I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson. I'm sorry, Mommy Dearest.
In Chasen's restaurant, except for a narrow corridor of people through which arriving dinner patrons can get in, the sidewalk's alive with a loose crowd of fans. This happens once or twice, but the third time, the loose molecules converge into a solid mass of noise and excitement. First Greg and then Joan getting out of the limousine. The fans are wild. They call her name. Neither Valet nor Greg can protect her. They're photographers. Everybody's going crazy. She's turning on her smile, shaking hands, and now favoring Joan, her face in a sea of faces. No body, just faces, just hands.
Thank you, everybody. You're all so dear to me. I love all of you.
Joan, with great skill, is signing, laughing, and saying goodbye, all the while heading for the entry where 3 valets, 2 waiters are making room for her, and she, in effect, stays with them as she leaves them.
Good night, and thank you. Thank you.
Chasins, Joan is there, royally present, and then David Chasin enters the frame, angle narrowing. He is ready to escort her to the special table. You know, Murrell, I believe, is gone. Is Daniel here?
Yeah, I'll read his line.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say Murrell is gone, so someone pick up that one.
Miss Crawford, welcome. Good evening. We're ready for you, please.
She stands and looks around. Her table is empty except for 2 waiters standing by. Some Hollywood personalities wave to her. Others who don't actually know her just smile in appreciation. Joan takes a slow step forward, but she scans the place through her ever-present friendly smile and sees Greg. At a middle table of the main aisle, Greg is seated with L.B. Mayer and 2 other middle-aged men. Joan waiting as the help wait for the next move. No one is thinking of Joan, that's clear. Chasing a step behind her, she is growing angrier with each passing second. Her smile becomes more and more fixed and vacant, but never falters. A signal from Chasin. Camera sweeps past the table until it stops at Mayer, where an alerted waiter leans respectfully over to whisper something to Greg. They all turn. Greg excuses himself.
Did your fans let go of you at last? We were about to send a rescue squad.
This is a happy surprise, LB.
Joni, I want you to meet a few financial friends from New York. They're bankers. Miss Crawford, Mr. Lubin, Mr. Dodd.
My daughter, Ellen, would love to have your signature, Miss Crawford.
So happy to meet all of you. May I have a pen, please?
You see, Joan? She didn't want L.B. Mayer's signature.
She's not as smart as her father. For Ellen from Joan Crawford with affection. There you are. Greg, shall we?
He makes a move to leave, but Greg doesn't move. And so for a moment, it all hangs there.
Where are you going? We're having dinner. Join us. It's our privilege.
The bankers say they're pleased, Mrs. Crawford. She is directed inside the booth.
It's a joy to have you with you. You know I love you. And you're one of the reasons bankers love Metro. No, I discussed it with Shane. I'm sure you'll be satisfied with the interest arrangement.
Joan's bedroom suite, the Brentwood house. He's jacketless, Greg, his tie open, slouched in the elegant chair, waiting Joan, still in her fancy clothes, ranging around the room. Okay, I missed all that up.
Hauling me off to Mayer's table like some picked-up floozy. Or one of those little starlets out to give the big shots a nice night in the town. Is that the way you think of me?
Is that the way you think of yourself? A floozy who broke the star barrier?
God damn it! Jason's is my place.
Nobody wanted my signature, so I walked in.
You expect me to turn away from my fans? They're life and death to me.
I expect you to walk in with me. Sit down at your table with me. Then Mayer would have to bring his bankers over, introduce them, get your autograph, and leave. That's what you should have done.
That's what I would have done if you weren't so busy kissing LB's ass.
Why are you screaming?
How could you put him over me? You know that man is trying to destroy my career.
He's not destroying your career, Joan. If your career's in trouble, it has nothing to do with him.
I can't get a good script from that bastard.
He's given you everything you've asked for. It's not the scripts, Joan.
What the hell is it?
Joan, the last script you begged for and got, that part should have been played by a younger girl.
What are you talking about?
You're destroying your own career. You were always the shop girl who fought her way to the top and made a great success. Well, you're not a little shop girl anymore. And that's the truth to face and deal with if you want to survive. The truth is, you're getting old.
And you're nothing but a crooked lawyer with connections you'd be afraid to name, supplying the grease that makes a shitty movie system work. That's what you are. You think your life's a mystery. There isn't a dirty cover-up in this industry that I don't know about, and your hand is in every bit of it. You stink of it.
Powerful, he jumps across half the room and has her in his hands, ready to break her.
No sane person would dare talk to me that way. One, anywhere. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Tell me.
I'm crazy.
He suddenly ice in and lets go of her. She collapses on the floor and half lies there.
Get up. There's no camera here.
Greg, where are you going?
Where I belong. Out of here.
Why, you belong here. And I'm waiting for you. I am Greg.
Good night, Joan.
Darling, please don't leave. Because if you do, you'll never come back in again, no matter what you say and what you ask and what you do. I mean, never, never, never. And I never change my mind. And I never forget. Never.
I wish you well, Joan. I'll only speak well.
Greg, please. Don't leave me this way.
If you're acting, you're wasting your time. If you're not, you're wasting mine. Good night and good luck. Goodbye.
Drink if you didn't earlier on that, darling. Oh, what a great scene. Children's room. Watching through their half-open door listening, they see Greg in the hallway as he goes downstairs. Forlorn faces of the children. Inside Joan's room, something crashes. The children scurry for safety. Christina straps Christopher in his bed, and then she jumps into her own, and they are still. Christina's door opens, and she comes out dressed for school. Halfway down the stairs, she glances over to the framed photograph of Joan and Greg, which we saw last night. Christina passes it, stops, and then comes back. Greg's face has been torn out of the picture. The image remains of Joan embracing a man's headless body. The breakfast room, a bizarre sight. Christopher sits silently in his high chair, watching as Joan and Carol Ann are busily at work on a pile of photographs. Systematically and methodically, the two women are removing every evidence of Uncle Greg.
Good morning, dearest heart. Hurry up and eat your breakfast. Mustn't be late for school.
In the garden, Saturday morning, Christina and Christopher are playing a game of tag in the garden, attempting to suppress their noise. Christina tackles Christopher. He lets out a loud shriek. Christina clamps her hand on Christopher's mouth to stifle the noise, but it's too late. Joan's window slams open, and we see Joan framed in the upstairs window.
God damn it!
Joan storms across the room, opens the door, goes to the head of the stairs, and shrieks.
I've told you to keep the children quiet. Now, for Christ's sakes, get them out of the garden.
I'm sorry, Miss Crawford.
Forget it. I'm awake now. Have Tina bring me my coffee.
Christina enters the room with a tray and coffee. Joan is propped in her bed on a pillow. On her lap is a basin filled with water and ice.
I'm sorry. I tried to be quiet, but we were playing and I forgot.
Promised last night. I told you why. I told you how important it was.
I'm sorry, Mommie Dearest.
Go to your room and stay there until I come for you.
Christina's bedroom. Christina's in her room playing with her beloved dolls.
You were very, very bad to wake Mommy up like that. Very naughty. I told you Mommy had to sleep and be rested. Mommy has to be very beautiful Monday. Monday, she has to see Mr. Mayor. Monday is so important. You were selfish and thoughtless, and all you ever think of is yourself. And you must learn to think about other people. You're bad, bad, spoiled children.
Joan watches and smiles from the doorway. Christina coming up the stairs to her room in a bathing suit later. She is happy, singing to herself as she skips across the landing and into her room. When she enters, she sees that every one of her dolls is gone, disappears. She puts her hands up to her face. She turns and bolts out of the room, crossing the landing into Joan's room and barging in, trying not to cry.
My babies! Someone stole my babies!
Good, darling. Now your babies won't wake you up when you need your rest.
Rico, darling, but that was great. Joan dressed her absolute movie star best, goes up the stairs and into the building at the Thalberg building. She slows down as she passes blown up stills from her movies. A man in a business suit comes up behind Joan and walks with a few paces.
The man. Joan, you look like a million.
Thank you. Nice of you to say.
There are two secretaries at adjoining desk at Louis B. Mayer's office. One secretary is on the phone as Joan walks in. The other stands up.
Good morning, Miss Crawford.
Hello, Connie. Lovely blouse.
Thank you, Miss Crawford.
Connie, flattered, comes around her desk and opens the door. L.B. Mayer's office. Mayer's giant figure blocks the camera as he approaches Joan. She is revealed entering the door, closing behind her, where she pauses. Luminous, beautiful, the star.
Joan, I asked you to come to see me today because I'm in trouble, and you can help me.
I'll do anything to help you.
Good. I want you to leave Metro.
Leave Metro? I've been here 17 years.
Your pictures, one after another, are losing money. The theater owners voted you box office poison. Well, even so, for years, I paid no attention. You know, I don't give up easy, Joan. We'll pay you off on the contract. You can't afford to make 3 or 4 more losers for us. Then it'll be too late for you to try elsewhere.
It's the scripts, bad pictures, bad directors.
Bad with you, good with others.
I keep begging you for a script with some balls. Write it for Gable, and I'll play the hell out of it.
Listen to me, Joan. Listen with your ears and not with your pride. With me, feeling is more important than money. You're a great star. You're Hollywood royalty. You're still beautiful. Look at yourself now. Who can ask more of a woman, a dancer, an actress, a symbol for all the world? But styles change. You'll leave. We have creative differences. We don't want to argue and fight with each other because we love each other. Every studio will think they're smarter than me. They'll try to finesse L.B. Mayer. You'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, a dozen pictures. And you may get a hit. Ouch. They'll laugh at me.
And will you be sorry then?
I'm sorry now, Joan. But here there's no confidence anymore. There's no hope. No one can work without hope. It's time for change. Let's be friends, Joan. I wish you prove us wrong. I wish you success. New voices, new faces, a breath of fresh air, who knows?
He sobs.
Joan, don't do this to yourself.
No one to defend me when you don't believe in me anymore. I'll leave then. I'll have my maid and studio people clear out my cottage. I have a lot of years to collect.
It's done, Joe. Your things are packed. They're loading your car.
You mean everybody already knows?
That we parted friends because we didn't agree.
You always treated me with understanding and love. Will you walk me to my car?
He hesitates.
I thought you said I was still royalty.
He kisses her and closes himself away in his office. There is the door. Joan stands by the door of her convertible outside her dressing room. The car is filled with boxes, paintings, the paraphernalia of years. Mary, Joan's wardrobe lady, slams the trunk shut. Her eyes are red from crying.
Good luck, Joan.
See ya, Joni. Thanks, George.
Joan smiles. She turns the corner and stops the car in a private place, closes her eyes and takes a deep breath, bows her head. Suddenly she stops and sits up very straight, taking another deep breath. She throws her shoulders back like a goddamn champion. She twists the rearview mirror to see herself and wipes under the eyes. She's turning back to Joan again. They wave, blow kisses, and call out ad-lib comments like, "We love you, Joan. Good luck. Goodbye, Joni." Joni smiles and waves at them regally as she makes the long, slow drive off the lot.
Good luck, Miss Crawford.
Thank you, Frankie.
Joan drives through the gate, her teeth clenched in a tight smile. She turns the corner and pulls the car over to the curb. She takes a deep breath and exhales, and then she just rests her head on the steering wheel, having given a superb performance. The Rose Garden, pitch black. We see nothing in the darkness, but can hear an eerie sound of metal shears hacking away. A large section of the Rose Garden has already been decimated. Joan's figure hacking maniacally away at the remaining rose bushes with giant head shears. She's bloody from scratches on her face and arms, breathing heavily. Christopher is asleep, strapped in his bed. Christina is also asleep as Carol Ann bursts through the door. She pauses for an instant, backlit, and then moves to Christina's bedside.
She's frozen.
Hit it, Clay.
Wait, which one's frozen? Oh, Aurora's frozen.
Carol Ann, yeah.
Wake up! Wake up! Your mother wants you were downstairs in the rose garden. You too, Christopher.
What? What's happening?
Come along, put on your robes and slippers. Your mother wants you right away.
As Christine and Christopher, followed by Carol Ann, arrive, Joan whirls to face them.
I want those branches cleared out of here now. Tina, get the wheelbarrow and rake. Carol Ann, Christopher, start gathering the branches up. Goddamn lazy gardener. Only comes once a week. Doesn't give a damn. Let the place go to hell. A loyalty. Judas, lazy, unfaithful bastard.
Joan savagely attacks another rose bush, flattening it with one powerful slice of the shears. Christina, who has returned with a wheelbarrow, stares at her mother, paralyzed with terror, and Joan glistens, perspiration and blood.
Tina, bring me the axe.
Christina returns with a lethal-looking axe. By this time, Joan has cut down every single rose bush. Left standing in solidarity dominance of the garden is a lovely orange tree. Joan grabs the axe and furiously begins to attack. Christina, Christopher, and Carol Ann watch horrified, too frightened to object. Joan chopping away until the tree begins to topple. As it comes down, Joan stands triumphantly holding her axe. Brentwood home, sitting in the living room, is a delegation of 10 ladies. Their ages range from late 20s to mid 60s. They are the executive council of presidents of Midwestern Crawford fan clubs. Joan is their idol.
How lovely of you to take the time to come see me. It's ladies like you who make this possible. I depend on all of you.
On behalf of the millions of fans in the Midwest, please accept this token of our esteem.
The heart-shaped garland of flowers reads, "Always in the hearts of mid-America. With love, Joan Crawford fan clubs."
The years are too long, Miss Crawford. We're waiting for your next I'm waiting too until I make us all happy. I'll play all the parts.
The 10 ladies posed by the floor tribute to the president in the foreground presents the heart to Joan, and the photographers are popping their flags.
I don't know how I can thank you, all of you, for your loyalty and your love.
Joan looks admiringly at the flowers, then up at the worshipful face of her visitors. Joan reaches out, overflowing with emotion, and hugs Miss Morgan. Flashbulbs pop.
It's you, my fans, that keep me going.
The freshly raked and cleaned earth, which used to be the Rose Garden. There are 2 long tables set up between the house and pool. At each table sit 5 women. Each table contains a stack of autographs, and they're stuffing those autographs.
Is Carol Ann just not she's not in the show anymore?
Is Aurora
Aurora's there?
I've got her.
She's here.
Yeah.
Isn't this fun, Christopher? You're doing a wonderful job.
Joan enters from the house.
Ginny, are we running short? Shall I sign some more photographs?
Oh no, Miss Crawford, we have plenty.
Good, you're all so gracious to help.
Miss Crawford, lunch is ready.
Christina, Joan, Christopher, and Carol Ann are in the middle of lunch. Each has a plate of rare roast beef, half eaten. Christina's plate has not been touched.
Christina, you haven't touched your lunch.
It's raw.
It's rare, not raw.
But it's got all this red juice when I push on it.
Then don't push on it. It is good for you, darling. The doctor said so.
Drink.
Christina,
Darling, again. Meat loses its vitamins.
all right.
I had my vitamins this morning. Pills.
Negotiates everything like a goddamn Hollywood agent.
Drink.
Christina, stop acting like a spoiled brat.
There's a deadly silence as mother and daughter stare at one another in a test of wills.
You're not getting up from this table until you've eaten the meat.
Joan's breakfast room, the late afternoon light slants across Christina, who is sitting alone at the table, untouched meat ahead of her. She's a stubborn gal. Joan comes into the breakfast area and stands in front of Christina.
You may get up from the table now. Just a moment, young lady. Put your plate in the refrigerator.
She does.
I'm having a dinner party tonight, Christina. And I don't want to be disturbed. You'll have dinner in your room. You will finish everything on that plate.
Later in the living room, remnants of a dinner party. Joan finishes off a stiff vodka, refills, and turns out the lamp. She starts up the stairs. In children's room, Joan walks over to Christopher, adjusts his sleep safe, and tenderly brushes a wisp of hair back from his forehead. She crosses to Christina, sees the untouched plate of roast beef. She looks at sleeping Christina, shakes her head as if to say, what am I going to do with this child? Reaches towards this Christina and gently tucks the blanket closer to her chin. Then she sighs and picks up the plate of uneaten beef and exits the room. Apparently, she's given in. The next day, the beef is now covered with congealed fat. It looks ghastly. It is still untouched. They are at the table. Everyone is enjoying breakfast. Christina's willful, determined expression remains as it was lunch yesterday.
You may drink a glass of milk, and then you are excused from the table. Hurry, or you'll be late for school. Christina! Put that plate back in the refrigerator.
She takes her plate and goes through the swinging doors in the kitchen.
Why must everything be a contest?
Brentwood Street. Joan is driving slowly down a residential street, looking nervously for Christina. Joan turns a corner, driving slowly, and sees two 10-year-old girls from behind, one of them blonde. She speeds up, but slams her fist on the steering wheel as she gets closer and realizes it isn't Christina. She drives it in the street, turns again, circling the block.
Have you seen a blonde girl about 10? Say, aren't you?
Yeah, aren't you?
Joan accelerates before he can finish. She turns another corner. Christina is up ahead, trudging along the side of the road. Joan speeds up to the child, then hits the brakes. She cuts the engine and jumps out and runs towards Christina, who turns and cringes reflexively.
Oh, God, you scared me. What do you mean running off like that? You had me worried sick. I ought to blister you. Jesus. What if the papers got a hold of this?
Joan holds Christina away from her to inspect her to reassure herself that she's got her back. Joan smiles. Christina doesn't return the smile. She doesn't trust Joan, doesn't know what to expect. Joan smiles again, pleadingly, and Christina offers a tentative smile. Joan whispers to Christina as the child is squeezed against her, looking out over Joan's shoulder.
When will you understand? I do things for your own good.
Christina is half smothered in her mother's arms. Her face is blank. Joan loosens her grips and holds Christina away from her again. Christina looks down at the ground and Joan gently raises her chin so their eyes meet.
Tina?
I'm hungry.
I'll bet you are. Okay. Let's sneak over to Pinky's and I'll buy you a delicious hot dog and a great big chocolate malt. I love you more than anything, Christina. I love you very much.
I love you too, Mommie Dearest.
Christina's bedroom, night. Christina asleep, a dim light from the hallway, peace on her face, but angry words, muffled by many walls, but sometimes clear, shake her awake.
You've been snooping around here ever since I got this job. You've been snooping around since What's happening? Oh, is this where we're... Oh, I get it. You've been snooping around ever since I got this job. You've been snooping around since I got this job, trying to find out what it is. Well, now you know. You know, don't you? And you know it. You know it now.
Muffled reply from Carol Ann and then the sound of a blow. Suddenly, Joan's voice erupts with laughter.
Christina!
The exchange with Carol Ann continues now, rising with growing anger and therefore growing clearer, although Carol Ann's answers are dim, just sounds lost in the walls. And Christina gets out of bed, and like a thief, she makes her way through the hallway, ready to run back to the bed at the slightest alarm. The fight going on in her mother's bedroom is clear now. Her mother getting angry and angry in her typical way, while Carol Ann's words are just said without much expression, as if unusual, afraid to assert herself. But the words are clearer. Christina makes her way slower to her mother's closed door.
In my closet. Well, your handkerchiefs are in your own top drawer, where they always are. What were you doing snooping around in my closet?
A long mumble of unclear words from Carol Ann, and now Christina's at her mother's door, listening in the silence of the enormous house, where the only sounds are the fury about to erupt again behind the door. Suddenly, a chair falls over.
You've been snooping around ever since I got this job, trying to find out what it is. Well, now you know. You know, don't you?
Know what? Know what, Mother?
You know that's my uniform.
Your uniform?
Suddenly, the voices die down. They are speaking but quietly to each other. Joan is urging something.
It's louder!
I'm really not surprised. You've never spoken
to your people who you came from, so perhaps it's natural. Maybe that's why Father...
Mommy!
Christina's head and shoulders, and in Joan's bedroom, Carol Ann standing up surprised, the movie script open in her hands while Joan is near the wall where she has just struck.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Oh, my darling.
Rick?
I'm just rehearsing with Carol Ann for a new picture. Sweetheart, you were frightened. Now be a good girl and sit quietly while Mommy does her work.
He props her up in her bed.
And for God's sakes, Carol Ann, try to get some expression into your lines or read them faster. Don't keep me waiting or I lose the emotion. Here, let's go. I won't slap the wall this time. I'll just clap my hands like this. Okay. And let's start where I grab you by the shoulders and yank you around. I'm going to start real high up, and don't hold me up. You've been snooping around ever since I got this job, trying to find out what it is. Well, now you know. You know, don't you?
Know what? Know what, Mother?
You know that's my uniform.
Your uniform?
Yes. I'm waiting on tables in a Glendale restaurant. And you know it now.
My mother, a common waitress.
Christina's face is fascinated. In Christina's bedroom, she's back in bed under the covers, listening as Carol Ann speaks quietly, not to wake the boy.
Your mother's been practicing and practicing. You know how perfect she always wants to be, but now she must be perfect. You understand?
She wants everything to be perfect.
That's why sometimes she can be hard on the
people she loves, like you and Christopher.
She loves you too, Carol Ann.
Well, this time it's even more important. They're making your mother to a screen test. Do you know what that is?
When they aren't sure they want you?
Right. You know how shameful that is for her? How brave she is. She's doing it for all of us. She wants this film. She knows she's right. She is this character, Mildred Pierce. She knows. She knows. And we have to help her. We will, won't we?
I will. I will.
Carol Ann kisses her.
Vida!
The sitting room. An elaborate radio phonograph is broadcasting the Academy Award program. The lights and shadows of the living room reveal Christopher and Christina wearing their night clothes and bathrobes, sitting side by side on a sofa, listening, watching.
He has now opened the sealed ballot. Is that still me?
Yes.
Oh. The winner for the best male actor is Ray Milland in The Lost Weekend.
He was good. You think I was right not to be there, Carol Ann?
Yes, I do.
That's a lot of bull anyway. Make deals, the studio votes in blocks. Well, the best actor is a vote for a lush. That figures. God, I hate this night. Turns every damn year into a crisis.
The radio voice now goes on to announce the nominations for the Best Actress: Ingrid Bergman in The Bells of St. Mary's, Joan Crawford and Mildred Pierce, Greer Garson in The Valley of Decision, Gene Tierney and Leave Her to Heaven.
I wish I really did have the flu bad. Wish I was raving mad with fever, didn't even have to listen.
You're going to win. I know, Mommy.
He is getting the envelope now. He is opening it.
Everybody said you were so wonderful.
The picture's a hit.
Oh, shut up.
And the winner is Joan Crawford and Mildred Pierce.
The shout of the audience from the set is drowned out by Joan leaping from the couch with a great yell of triumph. Everyone's excited. She runs to the mirror, studies her face. Her looks, a few touches outside the volume builds. Joan is all glory now. For a moment, the future and the past, one in the present, and she goes to the foyer following Carol Ann. At a signal from Joan, Carol Ann opens the door and the gates are open. The lawn is filled with the fan club ladies as well as just the curious. Behind are headlights, horns, cars. Everybody's going batshit crazy.
Please.
And the voices die down.
Oh, I would rather be here with you than anywhere else in the world.
Yay!
All of you here and everywhere gave me this award. I accept it from you and you alone. I love all of you. And please, excuse me. Good night.
More applause. Everyone's going crazy. The phone rings inside. Christina's up in Joan's arms, held tight, face to face, whirling, whirling, whirling. The doorbell rings. Christina opens it to admit a handsome stud, rather younger than Joan. The man is Charlie Duvall. Charlie flashes his lovely white teeth in a winning smile.
I'm Charlie. You're Christina?
I'll tell Mommy you're here. Mommy, Uncle Charlie is here.
Oh, no.
Oh, Joan's frozen.
Oh, is Joan frozen?
Yeah, I guess yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there he is.
Am I back?
Yeah. He's back.
Okay.
Be a darling.
You're at BA.
Joan, it's be a darling.
Where we are.
Middle
Be a
of
darling.
80s,
Mix him a drink. Mix him a drink.
Joan and Duvall are in bed. On the nightstand, empty glasses. He is fast asleep with a smile of satisfaction on his face.
What's the matter, baby? You still hungry?
Get dressed. Get your ass out of here.
It's 4 a.m. Are you crazy?
Get out. Now.
I'm going back to sleep. Wake me at 9.
I said get dressed and get the hell out.
What a bitch.
I can buy men like you anytime.
Women your age have to.
Thwack! She slugs him. Thwack! Thwack!
Get out or I'll scream and get the cops up here.
Christine and Christopher, their eyes are wide open.
You goddamn screwed up selfish actress bitch.
Get out of here, you soft pecker. Soft pecker.
Charlie exits the bedroom, crosses the stair. Christine and Christopher peer out of the door at the departing figure. He leaves. Joan is still on her balcony. Hurls the second shoe.
You missed, bitch.
I'll be yours, soft pecker.
The children rush back to their bed. Christina hurried straps Christopher back into his bed. She is trying to get back into her bedroom, though, the French doors, which have locked from the inside.
Son of a bitch rubbing bastard. Should have saved one shoe.
She begins to laugh at the incongruous situation. She gets to the children's balcony door, taps on the door. Christina gets up and lets her in.
Mommy? Mommy?
Oh my God, Tina. It's all so crazy. Life is crazy. Men are crazy. Let's be crazy too.
Scene is pristine and lovely as the two walk along the beach hand in hand, the pre-dawn light making the sea silver. This is the same stretch of beach she walked with Greg early in the film.
Do you miss not having a father?
Sometimes.
Well, I never had one either. My mother married 3 times, but they all went away. Things were hard then. Things are always hard. They're hard when you begin, and they're harder and full of pain when they keep trying to end. But you can't let them in because that's the end of you. I've won an Academy Award. And it still gets harder all the time. Do you understand, darling?
I do, Mommy.
I keep remembering now, Tina. All those big metro years I never had to remember. I had no time to remember. Didn't want to remember. I remember now how I wanted to dance. God, how I wanted it. How I loved it. I was good. Life was bad, but when I danced, it was good. I was free.
Takes a few whirls in the sand.
How do you make strangers care enough to let you dance so you can live and dance? I'll tell you how, darling. You eat dirt.
Oh, no.
And you keep eating it and living it. And you have to be lucky. And you never give up. You must never give up. Remember, Mommy knows. And Mommy told you.
I won't, Mommy.
All right, a few drinks. There's a few drinks in there from the last monologue. I was so transfixed.
Okay.
Couple darlings.
Take a big drink. There were a few darlings.
I made the chorus line and lived in a New York dump. I danced at the Roseland with anybody who bought a ticket. You were born here, sort of. That's where I said I wanted you. I wanted to find you somewhere in the world and make you mine. You're really all I have now, darling. It's hard to be alone. I was just really alone until you came into my life. You were a perfect baby. You were mine. I could love and not be afraid to love and be betrayed by love. You mustn't change, darling. You must be mine and never change. And I'll give you anything you want in the whole world.
Drink.
I'll always love you, Mommy Dearest.
And you'll have everything. Anything you want. Tell me. It's yours.
I want you to love me.
You can never lose that love, Tina, darling. It's yours. Like yours is mine. Always. 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 And forever.
Hillary, Charles is essentially daring us to shout in the middle of his monologues.
I'm daring you. Break in.
Joan is wearing a long black nightgown and robe. She is prepping for bed. She takes a sip from her vodka glass and tissues off the layer of cold cream on her face. She applies lotion with a cotton ball and then takes a paper Japanese fan and fans her face to dry it. She then hooks on her chin strap. She scrutinizes her face, pulling closer to the mirror. Next, she pulls her black satin eye shade over her head, leaving the black patches on her hairline like a pair of sunglasses propped on her head. Takes another swig of vodka. Children's bedroom, night. Ooh, here we go. Joan stands at the door to their bedroom, light streaming in behind her. She sees they are both sleeping and she bends down to pick up a sweater on the floor. She turns on a light in the closet and begins to hang up the sweater when she freezes. She stares at a dress that is on a wire hanger, just back from the dry cleaner, then yanks it off the rack and her eyes widen as she pulls the dress off.
A wire hanger.
Christina sits up. Her view of Joan is of a monstrous figure.
How many times do I have to tell you? No wire hangers!
Finish your drink.
Finish your drink.
I'm afraid of talking too loud. It's so late here in New York. I'm afraid my neighbors are going to start banging on the wall.
As y'all are drinking, Joan turns back to the closet and in a frenzied rage pulls all the clothes off the bar they're hanging on and flings them into the room. She grabs the sweater boxes from the shelf and hurls the contents onto the room. Christina holds her pillow against her Christopher and trapped in her harness lies still as a possum, only his fear-widened eyes following her mother's movements. When Joan has emptied the closet, she strides at Christina, who cringes at her mother's hand, reaches out for her. Joan grabs Christina by the hair and pulls her out of her bed. The child yells in pain and fear as Joan drags her towards the closet. Joan then lets go of her and starts attacking her bed, ripping off the sheets and blanket and tossing them into the middle of the room, just like a typical mother would do, where some of them fall on top of the cringy Christina, burying her. Christina pokes her head out from under, scared to look, but scared not to. Joan suddenly spies another wire hanger on the floor.
No wire hangers.
Stop, Mommy! Please stop!
Why? Why do you always defy me? When will you learn? No wire hangers. Now clean up this mess.
Joan turns towards the open bathroom door and her expression becomes even more crazed.
Did you scrub the bathroom today?
Yes, Mommy.
Yes, Mommy, what?
Yes, Mommy, dearest.
You call this clean?
Miss Jenkins said it was clean.
Is that all you can do? Contradict your mother?
She smashes the cleanser down on Christina's head and hits her several times until the cardboard can bursts open and the white powder goes everywhere.
Help! Stop! No! Please stop! Help!
You'll get no help. You'll clean up your mess by yourself. And I'll inspect in the morning, you lazy, defiant little bitch.
Joan storms out of the room, slamming the door. There's a beat. Christopher slithers out of his restraint. He gets up and goes to the bathroom, from whence comes muffled sobbing. Christina looks at him, wiping her face with a washcloth, the white gritty powder all over her.
I'll help you.
Go. Strap yourself in. She'd kill me if she found out.
Christina takes a deep breath, looks around at the tornadoed room, shakes her head in amazement. Her next words are ones she's rarely used, grown up, forbidden ones.
Jesus Christ.
Crawford House. The room is dominated by a magnificent Christmas tree. Joan, Christina, and Christopher are being interviewed for radio.
No report on Christmas would be complete without a description of how one holiday family spends this holiday.
That's a double drink, Darrin, because you said holiday instead of Hollywood, and Hollywood's
right.
All right.
Hollywood family spends this holiday. So now let's hop into an imaginary sleigh and whisk out to the home of one of America's foremost actresses, Miss Joan Crawford.
We're so happy to have you with us. This is my daughter, Christina.
Hello, everybody.
And my son, Christopher.
Hi.
Miss Crawford, could you tell us about what you would call your most exciting Christmas?
I think the happiest moment of my life was the first Christmas the children came into my life. I don't see how Christmas can be enjoyed without children around.
Well, all America knows of your generosity in adopting both homeless children, and I'd like to tell our listeners that they are beautifully behaved.
I feel that discipline mixed with love is such a good recipe.
At what time do you expect your youngsters will awaken tomorrow morning?
Well, I'm afraid they're likely to be up by 6:30 at the latest.
Will they come straight into your room and waken you?
I'd be disappointed if they didn't. Christmas is our favorite day of the year.
Christina, do you and your brother get lots of presents at Christmas time?
Yes, we do. Mother's fans send us so many beautiful things. But we like to share them with other boys and girls who aren't so fortunate.
Miss Crawford, would you tell us what's to happen after we leave you tonight?
Well, the children and I will probably just watch the Christmas tree lights for a while. Then later, we'll welcome some of the children's friends who'll be in to help us sing some carols.
And then surely you'll finish up by reading "'Twas the Night" before Christmas.
No, Christmas Eve would be complete without that.
As a Christmas present to our listeners, would all of you like to say the last two lines for us?
And I heard
him exclaim as he drove
out of sight. Merry Christmas to all,
and to all
a good night.
And good night to you, Miss Crawford, and thank you for allowing all of us to share your Christmas Eve.
Thank you, and a very Merry Christmas to you and all of your listeners.
And by God, there is so much warmth in Joan's voice as she speaks her last lines that believes she means it with all of her heart. Christina is standing behind the bar at Brentwood Bar, doing her best impression of a miniature Joan playing hostess. The object of her attentions is another new uncle, Ted Gelber.
Mommy's not quite ready, Mr. Gelber. Will it be scotch and water tonight?
Who plays Ted?
Don't know. What do we got? Please, but easy on the scotch, honey.
It's me.
Rico.
Please,
drink.
I know, I got one job here. Please, but easy on the scotch, honey.
But Mr. Gelber, I fix all my uncle's drinks that way.
I am not your uncle.
Mommy asked you that you come upstairs now.
Christina turns and begins to walk out of the room. Ted tastes his drink, makes a wry face, looks at his very strong drink, then at Christina, who is at the foot of the stairs, smiling. Joan's dressing room. Joan, seated at a mirror dressing table, fully made up, is wearing a light robe, loosely wrapped, revealing her bra, panties, and garter belt. She touches perfume over her neck, shoulders, and legs. She quickly checks her hair and makeup in the mirror and turns with a charming smile.
Mommy, Mr. Gelber is here.
Christina, by this time you know you can call him Uncle Ted.
Yes, Mommy dearest. Uncle Ted.
Ted, darling.
Joan's robe slips open further and she goes hungrily into Ted's arms. Christina crosses the living room and goes to the bar, taking Joan's bottle of vodka and a fresh icy glass out of the refrigerator, pouring her a good strong belt. Then she smiles into the mirror and winks at herself. Ted is sitting in the chair in front of the vanity table. Joan has her leg up on the edge of it, provocatively right in front of Ted's face as she pulls on a stocking. She caresses her leg as she smooths the stocking. Ted is eyeing her and getting turned on, which is her intention. Ted reaches out his hand to touch her leg and Joan playfully taps it away. Vodka in hand, Christina arrives through the bedroom. She comes to a sudden stop, fascinated by their embrace. Joan's back is to the entry so she doesn't see Christina.
We've got company.
Joan pulls away from the kiss and gets up.
I brought you a freshener, Mommy dearest.
Looks like my baby is growing up.
On a country road in Palos Verdes, giant eucalyptus trees line the side of the road. Joan's car whizzes by.
Tina, I'm your mother and you are my child. I do know what's best for you.
Whatever I did, I won't do it again. I promise. I can be better. I promised God last night when I said my prayers. I told him I'd be good and that I'd blow him 1,000 kisses if I didn't have to go. I can be better. Please tell me what I should do.
Joan's car turns into a black stop driveway. Beside the driveway, we see a sign reading Chadwick Country Boarding School.
You'll see, darling. Drink. The time will fly by. You can call me collect any time.
Chadwick School. The car pulls up at the circular drive and Miss Chadwick, the headmistress, comes out to greet them. She is 50-ish with a kind face and a splendid posture. Christina looks at her mother pleadingly.
How kind of you to greet us, Mrs. Chadwick.
I know you'll be happy here, Christina.
I won't. Please don't make me stay. I don't want to leave home.
Just last minute jitters. You'll see how lucky you are to be at this lovely school.
Please, Mommy, don't leave me here.
That's enough nonsense, young lady. What will Mrs. Chadwick think?
I'm sure everything will be fine once you settle in.
Joan gets into the car and waves gaily. Christina stares mournfully at the car as it goes.
I know just how you feel.
The Chadwick School Auditorium. 4 years have passed. A new Christina. She has matured and developed into an attractive young teenager. She is on the stage alone, reciting a monologue from her acting class.
Understand. The first word I ever heard out of any of you was that word, understand. Why didn't I understand that I must not play with water, cold, black, beautiful flowing water, because I'd spill it on the palace tiles. Understand. I don't want to understand. There'll be time enough to understand when I'm old, if I ever am old. But now.
Christina pushes when she finishes. The auditorium has been totally quiet. The other students now break into applause. She comes down from the stage pleased.
That was great, Christina.
Thanks, Tony.
Where's Vera?
What play is that?
Antigone. It's a Greek myth written by a French playwright.
Can I have your autograph when you're a movie star?
It's teasing. Christina gives him a playful, flirtatious punch on the arm. At Chasen's restaurant, Joan and Christina are in Joan's booth. Joan's eyes constantly rove the restaurant. Even when she's speaking to Christina, Christina is uptight, afraid to do or say anything that will provoke her mother, as Joan finishes several vodkas.
You sit up properly, Christina. Isn't this fun? I was having a date when you come home for the weekend. Now look who's here. After all those faceless, I didn't know she could move her mouth enough to chew. And her bastard husband.
Joan motions for the captain, who brings menus.
Yes. Don't flirt, Christina.
Christina's blushes bright red and looks down at her menu. Joan hands her menu back to the captain with a gracious smile.
We'll have the hobo steak for 2, rare, and 2 limestone salads. Christina, flirting can be taken the wrong way. Besides, we do not socialize with those who serve us.
I want you to see this. I got all A's and 1 B.
I'm very proud of you, dear. Now, what about your Christmas card list?
I've had exams, Mommy. I'll get my cards out on time. I'm not a baby anymore.
Sometimes I wish you still were a baby, not a moment's trouble, so obedient. Being away at school has made you rebellious. Perhaps you'd be better off at home.
I'm sorry. I've had a lot of schoolwork.
Work like an ox to send you to a good school. Times are damn rough. And I still treat you to a lovely evening like this, and what do I get? Smart out like back talk.
I'm sorry, Mommie Dearest. I'll try to do better.
Let's see, dear. Now let's enjoy dinner.
Crawford basement laundry room. Christina finishes putting the clothes into a front-loading washing machine. She closes the door and starts the machine. In the background, Joan is coming down the stairs. She stops at the bottom and watches Christina. Christina is unaware and carries the empty basket to a second machine and begins to take out the finished wet laundry.
Tina?
Oh, you scared me.
Sorry. There's a problem we have to talk about.
What did I do?
No, it's not you, dear. I'm having some financial difficulties. I let the extra help go. I just spoke with the Chadwicks about your tuition. They've agreed to let you go on a work scholarship program.
That's all right. We'll make out.
Had to work my way through school, scrubbing floors. It'll do you good to learn the value of work early. But there's something else.
What is it, Mommy?
You're going to have to be my brave girl when I tell you this. I lost my contract at Warner's. For the first time in 27 years, I'm on my own. No studio, no contract, no money, nobody. I've never been so alone.
I'm here, Mommy. It's going to be all right. I'll help you.
I'm scared, Tina. I'm really scared. I didn't think this could happen to me. What am I going to do? After all these years, I can't.
Shh. It'll be okay. We'll manage. There now. I love you, Mommy. I love you.
Oh. Christina's finishing cleaning up after a party. She empties ashtrays, rinses glasses behind the bar, sighs with exhaustion, and exits up the staircase. Christina enters the dressing room. She looks around, seeing the room disheveled, clothes scattered, dressing table spread with cosmetics. Standing at the open door, she knocks. No answer. Every light in the room is on.
Mommy? I came up to say goodnight. Mommy?
Not a sound, no reply. Christina walks into the bedroom. Joan is sprawled, face down on the carpet. Christina rushes to Joan, turns her over and shakes her. No response. Christina listens for a heartbeat.
My God! Carol Ann, help!
What is it?
Something's happened. Hurry!
Joan's bedroom. Christina comes through the open doorway to her mother's side, kneeling. Carol Ann follows through the door. She does not hurry or seem ruffled.
She's sick. I found her just like this. Carol Ann, she needs help. Call the doctor.
She doesn't need a doctor. She's drunk.
Drunk? No. Are you sure?
I'm sure, Christina. Believe me. It's not the first time.
Why didn't you tell me? I could have helped.
Christina sits for a moment to let this sink in. Then she looks up and for the first time notices that Joan's bedroom is filled to overflowing with what are obviously an extensive series of department store purchases. There are dress boxes, some unopened with new dresses spilling out, others still unopened. There is a new fur coat on the bed, still with the tags on amidst the wrappings.
When did she buy all these?
2 days ago. They came this afternoon.
I thought we were broke.
Let's put her to bed.
They do.
I'm sorry it has to be
like this for you and for her.
Christina nods sadly. Carol Ann leaves. Good job, Clay. Leaves as Christina covers Joan with a light comforter. She arranges a pillow under her head. Chadwick riding stables. Christina, Janice, and Vera gallop their horses out of a riding path to the stable. Christina dismounts and hands the reins to Tony. He is Vera's boyfriend, but just now he is interested in Christina.
Do you want to meet me here tonight?
Why?
Could go for a walk?
What about Vera?
Do you want to or not?
But why?
Have to have a reason? Because you're pretty, that's why.
The words, because you're pretty, do it. Christina nods her head and again glances at Vera. The moon is full as Tony and Christina walk slowly around the stables. Christina and Tony sit side by side in the silence until...
You're so pretty.
Am I?
He kisses her again.
Am I really?
His hand roam across her body.
Am I really pretty? Me? Am I really?
Great. This is real great.
Vera!
I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell.
Miss Chadwick's office. Joan is pacing and smoking in a goddamn rage. Miss Chadwick is behind her desk and Christina is on the couch, silent, forlorn.
How could you humiliate me like this? I'm ashamed to be the mother of... I can't even say the word. How could you let this happen, Mrs. Chadwick?
I understand your concern, Miss Crawford. Both students have been put on probation and will no longer have privileges for a month. Sorry.
This is appalling.
We should drink to that.
Myself to making Christina a proper young lady. That boy should be expelled.
Now, Miss Crawford, when this sort of thing has happened before, we have found that...
Before? Is this an institution of learning or a teenage brothel? I've paid a fortune so my daughter can get a diploma for screwing.
Chadwick has an impeccable reputation, and when students break the rules, we curtail their freedom.
We're leaving here right now. Obviously, she can't be controlled in this environment.
Nothing really happened between your daughter and the young man. It was innocent. I think you're overreacting, Miss Crawford.
And I think you're underreacting, madam. My compliments to your school and its impeccable reputation.
In Joan's car now.
Where the hell can I get some vodka around this dump?
There's a liquor store to the right.
I should have known you'd know where to find the boys and the booze.
Joan's Brentwood driveway. The car pulls to a stop.
Barbara Bennett's here from New York doing a cover story on me for Redbook. I don't want any trouble from you. Don't give me any shit in front of the reporter.
As Joan enters, Barbara Bennett looks up from the typewriter. She is Joan's age, but looks 10 years older. Her figure is plump, and her hair, touched with gray, is fixed haphazardly.
You're gonna love this. Movie star manages to have it all. Career, home, and family.
Wonderful. Let's see.
My God, Christina! It can't be! Last time I saw you, you were 4. Oh, my poor old gray head.
How are you, Miss Bennett?
God, call me Barbara. How do you like school?
Very much.
It got expelled.
That's a lie.
I want to talk to you in the other room, Christina.
Joan strides through the door, closely followed by Christina. Joan leads the way into the den so they can't be heard. As soon as both of them are in the room, Joan whirls to face her daughter. Joan is furious, but this time Christina is equally furious, and they stand face to face.
Why do you deliberately defy me?
Why did you tell her I got expelled?
You did get expelled.
That's a lie.
Joan slaps her across the face. Christina doesn't move, doesn't dodge, doesn't cower, doesn't even blink. She just stands looking at her mother, and the look says, I see you, and I know what you are. This is a confrontation, and for the first time, we realize that Christina is looking eye to eye with her mother. In fact, Christina is a bit taller than Joan. Enraged by this new attitude, Joan slaps Christina again harder, and Tina will not flinch.
You love it. You love it, don't you? You just love to make me hit you.
Barbara Bennett appears in the doorway, shocked at what's going on. Joan rolls at her rudely.
Barbara, please. Barbara. You know now how to get to your room. If you need anything, ask Carol Ann.
She leaves.
This is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. You embarrass me in front of a reporter. A reporter. And you.
Why did you adopt me? Why did you adopt me?
Because I wanted to open my home to unfortunate children. Because I wanted someone to love.
Don't act for me. I want to know, why did you adopt me?
Perhaps I did it for a little extra publicity. That's not true. Really, it's not true.
Maybe just a little true.
Well, I give up. I don't know what to do with you.
Why not?
Joan's head snaps around in rage, and she moves nearer to Christina.
I don't ask much from you, girl. Why can't you give me the simple respect I'm entitled to? Why can't you treat me the way I get treated by any stranger on the street?
Because I am not one of your fans!
Joan's entire body recoils for a moment, then she lunges forward, her face murderous. She grabs Christina by the throat, and they both go down, knocking over a lamp and a table as they fall. The shade rolls off the lamp as it hits the floor, and the scene is lit with a weird bright light from the naked bulb. Joan is completely out of control. She sits on top of Christina, pressing her thumbs into her throat.
Damn you, bastard!
Christina tries to fight back to get away, but she is no match for Joan, and it is clear that Christina is in great danger. Finally, Christina twists out from under her mother, wedges her knee between Joan's body and her own, and pushes Joan away, losing her grip. Joan releases one hand and hits Christina backhand across the mouth, cutting her lip with a large ring.
Ungrateful bastard!
Joan goes down again on top of Christina. This time we really think she will kill her daughter. When Christina is purple from lack of air, the door bursts open and Carol Ann rushes in, followed by Barbara Bennett.
My God, Joan, you killer! Stop it!
But Joan won't let go. Finally, both women give a tremendous pull and drag her away. Joan, screaming, turns to weeping that is touched with hysteria.
Stop it, Joan! Christina's hurt!
Carol Ann checks Christina to see if she is all right.
Go to your room, Christina. Now!
Christina stands up, looking at Joan with true hate. Joan turns her back. Christina leaves the room. Mother Superior's office. Christina sits on a stiff back chair in front of a stiff back nun, the Mother Superior, a formidable woman. Her office, like all the school buildings, is solid stone. It seems like a dungeon.
Dear Christina, God has brought you to our convent school so that you can see the error of your ways. You've sinned in the past, transgressed against the holy commandment, but you'll find forgiveness and be cleansed. Those who seek shall receive. Let us pray together for your repentance, that the good Lord will grace you with his comfort and guidance.
The Mother Superior gets up from behind her desk and kneels on the single pew underneath her window. Christina gets up, robot-like, and kneels beside her. The light streams in on them. Las Vegas hotel suite, 40 to 50 people at a party. Champagne corks pop.
To Joan and Alfred, a long and happy marriage.
Cheers!
Congratulations.
Mazel tov. Bright flashbulbs go off. Joan is kissing a crew-cut, gray-haired man, Alfred Steele. She's in a pink suit with matching hat and gaudy costume jewelry. He's dressed in a business suit.
Hold it. Oh, that's great.
Alfred, darling, I'm so happy.
Drink. Speech.
Good call, Clay.
Go, Clay. You're still.
Am I Al?
Yes.
Thank you for all being here on such short notice. This marriage has come as a surprise to some of you. Just think how I felt when Joan said yes.
A few minutes ago, a reporter asked me how I would describe the marriage of the soft drink king to the queen of Hollywood.
Drink.
I told him I thought it was a hell of a team.
Applause.
Joan, dearest, I know you're going to be so happy. You old scoundrel. Excuse me, darling.
That was my line.
Drink.
You old scoundrel.
Oh, that was beautiful, Darrin.
Thank you.
Las Vegas hotel suite bedroom. Joan closes the door, shutting off the
112 pages for that line.
smile and gracious manner are gone. She picks up the phone receiver.
Yes, hello, dear. What took you so long to call? So what have you heard about it on the radio? Christina, all you had to do was call Las Vegas. It's very simple. Any operator would have been able to locate me. Obviously, you didn't try very hard. Hundreds of other people have found us. Thank you, Christina. We will be gloriously happy.
Joan hangs up. Convent school entrance. Mother Superior smiling an affectionate farewell. Christina's suitcase is on the steps next to her, and she wears a simple civilian dress.
Thank you, Mother. You've been so good to me. These years have been lonely, but I've learned a valuable lesson. Patience. All right, I promise.
Goodbye, dear child. God be with you.
Crawford Mansion driveway. Limousine pulls in. Chauffeur gets out, starts to go to the right rear door. Before he gets there, Christina opens, gets out with her suitcase.
No thanks. I can manage.
She starts walking up to the house. The backyard and grounds look the same as in earlier scenes. Only the people have aged. Al Steele is swimming laps in the pool. Joan is sitting on the patio talking on the phone, and Christina moves onto the terrace and stands watching her mother.
I miss you too, darling, but you get to New York so often. We'll see each other then. Yes, I put the house up for sale. Alfred travels so much, and corporate headquarters are in New York. It only makes sense.
Bye, Christina.
Yes, my daughter's here. Talk to me before we leave. With love to you too.
Hello, Mother.
Darling.
Hey, boy.
You've grown, daughter. I want you to meet my husband.
What do I call him?
What would you call anyone who's your father? He's too fat, wears glasses, and he's slightly hard of hearing in one ear. But he's a wonderful man. Go, introduce yourself.
He hesitates and walks over the yard to him.
Hello, Daddy. I'm Christina.
An unfurnished apartment. We're in New York in what must be one of the biggest apartments in the world. The walls from 18 normal-sized rooms have been torn out to make 8 huge rooms. We see workmen, a harried decorator, Joan, Alfred Steele, and Christina enter.
Do we have Luke?
You have a decorator?
Wasn't Luke decorator and assistant decorator? Luke, decorator!
He's
muted.
You're muted, Luke.
Fucking shit. Sorry. Are kids watching? What page are you?
119.
I don't know what to do. That retaining wall is really blocking the view.
Tear out the frigging wall and put the window where it belongs. So let's sit in the den a while. Well, Tina, what are you up to?
I've been acting.
Acting like what?
Like an actress. Mostly in stock. I think I may be pretty good.
Good luck, darling.
Drink.
I'm working at night, so I can go on interviews during the day. The thing is, well, I don't like to ask, but I wondered if you could lend me.
Not a cent. You may be an actress for all I know, but you can do it like I did, on your own. Starve and cuss and kiss every ass you see, but do it on your own. Besides, we can't afford it.
Come on, Joan, a little something.
Doing things on your own is best. You agree, don't you, Christina?
Sure.
apartment hallway later. Christina's walking for the elevator, Steele moves quickly to her and presses $200 in her hand.
Between us.
The apartment. Al re-enters and thoughtfully goes to Joan, who is studying blueprints.
I hate to bring this up, but we've got to cut back on our spending.
What are you talking about? I'm doing everything for you. I'm working my ass off to turn this into your showplace.
You're doing a marvelous job, but we've got to economize.
Economize? I've lived a certain way all my life. I'm not going to back down the ladder just because you want to pinch pennies. Most of our expenses are for your company. I have to look great for Pepsi Cola.
I want you to look great, and I want us to live well, but there's a limit. We're going into debt.
You're going into debt. You're the businessman, Alfred Steele. I'm the star. You wanted a movie star to trot around for your goddamn soda pop? Well, you've got to pay the price.
Be reasonable, Joan. I've given you everything you've wanted. Just look at this joint.
You're the genius of the soft drink world. Get the goddamn company to pay the bills. Without me, Pepsi couldn't get the time of day.
Joan, you've got to understand, it's a public company, for Christ's sake. This isn't Hollywood. Drink.
Drink.
Where someone takes care of things with a phone call. This is the real world.
I'm a public. They expect me to live a certain way.
And that way is breaking my back.
You should have thought all this before. Why should I suffer because you didn't plan things well? You'll find a solution, Al. You love a challenge.
The Pepsi boardroom. Joan, dressed in black with a black veiled hat, sits at one end of a long boardroom table, and on both sides of the gleaming mahogany table are 12 executives, the board of directors of Pepsi Cola.
Do we have executives?
We should have every executive, unless maybe Murrell was executive one.
I was mute.
Okay, there we go.
I was mute. The condolences of every person at Pepsi Cola are with you.
A1 Steel helped make this company.
A1 Steel.
That one's drunk. And you were right by his side, bearing the burdens and joy. Enjoy.
We want to give you ample time to repay the debt. Plenty of time.
Of course.
Of course, we'll take the
She got it. She got it. She's back.
You probably wouldn't want to stay there alone anyway.
What's happening? Where I don't even know where
You're
we
at
are.
what debt? Top of 123.
Yeah, we're at John.
Okay. We're here and what's going on?
It's Luke's mic.
What?
No, Joan, you say what debt?
All right, okay. What debt? I've got 100,000 shares of stock.
Your husband borrowed against the stock to pay for the construction on your apartment.
And we loaned him considerable sum in addition to meet expenses his salary didn't cover.
You think you're so clever, trying to sweep the poor little widow under the carpet. Think again. I'm on the board of directors of this lousy company.
Well, we assumed that with your husband gone, you'd no longer want to be on the board.
Bullshit. I've given years of my life to the company. I intend to stay with it.
Executive one.
We appreciate your devotion and contribution. Is that right? Yes. We appreciate. Let me drink.
Drink.
That.
You should just take a drink before every line you say.
You know, crazy.
Really good scenery.
We appreciate your devotion and contribution, Miss Crawford, but we have retired you from the board of directors.
You two-bit sons of bitches. You drove Al Steele to his grave. Now you can stab me in the back. Forget it. I fought monsters worse than you years ago. I win the hard way.
Miss Crawford, we don't want any hard feelings.
You don't know what hard feelings are. People in America will drink that shit of yours when I come out of
It's hardly necessary to make the don't mean.
Sounds harsh.
Don't fuck with me, fellas. You forget that the press I deliver depends on my power. Use it any way I want. It's a sword that cuts both ways.
Who's the chairman?
We didn't realize the extent to which you were interested in the company apart from Al's position. We misjudged. We shall be pleased to have you stay on.
Thank you. I feel better already.
A 1968 vintage New York taxi is slowly moving down the street, looking for the correct address. It starts in front of a shabby brownstone walk-up. Christina's apartment. Spartan, neat, working girl lifestyle. Christina is preparing a light salad in her kitchen. She hears the buzzer.
Coming, I'm coming.
She opens the door and finds Joan.
Mommy.
I happen to be in the neighborhood.
Oh, Mommy. I wish I'd known you were coming. I would have straightened up.
Looks quite neat to me. Jesus Christ, I forgot what it was like. How are you, Tina?
I've been making rounds and making rounds. I've had lots of turn downs and lots of rejections, but I'm up for a part.
Good.
It's a soap opera.
Joan opens her purse and removes a stunning silver flask with the jeweled Pepsi symbol on it.
I got it from Batista himself when I opened this plant outside Havana. Not bad, huh?
It's lovely, Mommy.
You bastards.
Do you miss all that?
Yeah, sometimes. So, what about the guys?
Guys are guys. It hasn't changed.
Oh, I bought you a gift.
Christina's astonished. She takes the box from Joan and opens it. It's a beautiful strand of pearls.
They're lovely. Thank you, Mommie Dearest.
It was the first thing I got from Al. I want you to have them. And Tina, if you don't get the part, for Christ's sakes, don't hawk them.
Joan's small apartment. Joan has moved into a modest 4.5-room conventional Manhattan high-rise. As we come in, Joan is nicely dressed, fully made up, sitting at her dining room table with the now omnipresent glass of vodka at her side. And there's Carol Ann, faithful as ever, organizing piles of publicity headshots.
Is it 4 o'clock?
5 after.
5 after, turn it on.
Carol Ann does so. While she waits impatiently, Joan pours herself another drink and begins to pace.
5 minutes late. I want that set on every day at 4 sharp.
She turns the television on. Finally, the image resolves and we come in on typical scene from an afternoon soap opera, The Secret Storm. Christina is prominently featured, playing the young leading woman. Joan, every critical faculty alert, retreats to her chair at the dining room table and sits, forgetting her drink as she scrutinizes and evaluates Christina's performance. Actually, Christina's work on the soap opera is quite acceptable. She appears attractive, composed, and her talents are certainly up to the demands made.
She's doing well, don't you think?
Improving.
A lot of fans have written about how impressed they are with Christina and how proud you must be of her acting.
Something had to rub off. I have more of those 8x10s.
In Christina's kitchen, in the midst of eating dinner, she suddenly stops, quickly frowns, and touches her abdomen with the tip of her fingers. She is perspiring, has a stab of pain. She moves to the telephone and manages to dial.
Mother, I'm sick.
Manhattan Hospital. Joan and Carol Ann walk quickly down the hallway. A strong-looking 50-year-old woman, smartly dressed with a short haircut, steps out to introduce herself.
Oh, Miss Crawford, I'm Belinda Rosenberg, Christina's producer.
The doctor enters.
It's an ovarian tumor. We have to operate
now. The waiting room. Joan, Carol Ann, and the producer stand as the doctor from the previous scene approaches.
Good news, it's benign. She'll need a couple of weeks to recuperate.
It all happened so quick. Christina is lying in bed with intravenous tubes in her arm. There are lots of flowers. She's quite pale and is sitting up with pillows propping her. She is dozing slightly, and a nurse rushes in and switches on her television.
Your TV show's on. Don't you want to watch?
To see how well they manage without me?
To see your mother. They just announced your mother has agreed to stand in for you until you're well.
She can't. My character is 28 years old.
The commercial on the station finishes and Joan appears on screen. She is wearing one of Christina's costumes, a mini skirt, which serves to heighten the inappropriateness of the occasion. Joan appears to be drunk. She looks disoriented and slightly desperate, searching for her cue cards, slurring her words. Christina turns white as she stares in horrified fascination.
Bill, could you,
Could I call Cindy for you?
I was about to say it. I didn't know if he was. Okay.
Rico.
Could I call?
He was gonna what?
The crew stands
I didn't know if he was gonna do a backflip. Just say the fucking line.
Somebody has to drink.
Dramatic pause.
Looking at each other with nervous embarrassment.
Yes, she wants,
Joan squints at the cue card underneath the television camera.
I know that she wants to marry David, but what about his wife?
Soap opera music comes up and the red light goes off on top of the television camera. Belinda Rosenberg, the producer, hurries over to Joan.
Miss Crawford, are you all right?
Fine, just nerves. Give me a drink and I'll be fine.
We've only got another 70 seconds. You're doing swell. Just keep finding those cue cards.
I wanted to hold them up a little higher. Couldn't see the damn things. That's why I went wrong. You see?
Assistant director.
Is it not you? It's not you,
9,
Rico?
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Christina's hospital room where she is once again watching Joan on the
drink.
television screen. Christina looks at the image of her mother on it and winces in embarrassment and humiliation.
Shut it off, please.
Christina's new larger apartment. Several months have passed. Doorbell rings and Christina opens it and admits Carol Ann, who is carrying a see-through plastic bag which contains an evening dress and a small suitcase.
Well, dear, here's everything.
My God, I hope it fits.
Joan's arranged for a seamstress to be here at 5. She's so proud. She took sure care to pick the right colors for you.
Ring.
Yes, Mommy. Yes, she's here. Oh, it looks just fine. No, I'm delighted. I want to do it for you.
The Crawford apartment. Joan is in her bedroom watching television. She is frail, ravaged by a combination of alcohol and failing health. Despite her weakened condition, she is done up in the old chin strap, creams, etc., as though she were planning to report to Metro tomorrow morning. A master of ceremonies raises his hand on the TV to signal the end of the applause.
As the final event of this prestigious evening, we bestow our organization's highest award of merit upon a woman known throughout the world, not only as an Academy Award-winning actress, but also as a businesswoman held in high regard for her charitable, civic, and professional contributions. It is an honor for me to present this award of recognition to a truly great lady, Miss Joan Crawford. And with us tonight to accept the award on behalf of her mother is Miss Crawford's daughter, Christina.
And Christina goes up to accept.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to be here with you tonight and accept this honor, this award on behalf of my mother, Joan Crawford. When I spoke with her, she asked me to convey to you her deepest gratitude. She wanted so much to be here in person tonight, but as you know, prior commitments made that impossible. I know she would want me to say thank you to each and every one of you who made this honor possible. And on a more personal note, I'd like to say directly to her, congratulations, and I love you, Mommie Dearest.
Joan in her half-lit bedroom as tears come into her eyes and slowly run down her cheeks. In Joan's apartment, Carol Ann swings the door wide open and takes herself out of the shot. There stands Tina, elegant, beautiful, smiling, in her hands the award, and enters. The door is closed behind.
It's beautiful.
With the others.
Did you like the way it went?
I like the way you did it.
It was you they wanted to see.
What would they see? I can't pretend to look like Joan Crawford anymore.
They see you as they always see you. You never change in their minds, just like you never change in mine.
Tina, darling, I really wish we could live those days again and try again. I wish.
Drink.
I meant what I told the whole world tonight. I love you.
Joan peers into that face. Every face is always a mystery, and Joan tries to read her daughters. Then it takes her to her trophies, where she retrieves the one from that night. And now this old woman draws on her inner strength, her will, that fierce determination that made her life possible. She accepts the award.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to be here tonight and accept this honor. And on a more personal note, I'd like to say directly to my daughter, I love you, Christina, darling.
Darling.
I really do, Tina, darling. I really do.
That was two darlings.
Drink.
In the funeral home,
A lot of drinking.
Christina is in tears. Joan's tear-stained face we just left to reveal Joan in her coffin. She is frail in death, even thinner looking than she was in the preceding scenes. Christina is alone in the room, having the first viewing of her mother's body. Christina's face looks lovingly down at her dead mother.
I did, you know. I always did love you.
The doorway, as her brother Christopher, now grown, and David, Tina's husband, enter quietly. Solicitously, they move to Christina's side. Christina and Christopher embrace as David stands a few feet away.
You okay?
Yes. You?
I'm okay. You met my husband, David?
Yes.
Christopher approaches the coffin and takes a look at his mother. Christina moves to David's side, who puts his arm around her.
Let's go out and get some air.
With his arm around Christina and a hand on Christopher's shoulder, he shepherds the grieving children from the room. As the three emerge, they are descended on by an unctuous funeral director.
Ms. Crawford, I've always been such a fan of your mother's. I do hope we've done her justice. Actually, I worked from my own personally autographed publicity still of your mother.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
David moves Christine and Christopher away from the mortician. They are almost to the exit, and they are stopped by Carol Ann, now in her mid-70s. She is frail, worn, and grieving.
She always loved you
so much, Tina.
Did she, Carol Ann? Did she? I want to believe that. I need so to be able to believe that.
In the lawyer's office, Christina, seated with David and Christopher. All three are quite formally dressed. On the other side is the lawyer. He stops turning pages and stares at the page in front of him.
Here we are. This is the section pertaining to you and Christopher. It is my intention to make no provision herein for my daughter Christina and my son Christopher for reasons which are well known to them.
As usual, she has the last word.
Does she?
And that is the end of Mommie Dearest.
I, for one, would like to insist that this movie be remade starring Charles Busch.
I think we can all agree that that's a fine idea. Thank you all so much for participating in that madness. Again, if you're out there and you would like to make a donation to the Trevor Project, you can do that at thetrevorproject.org/donate. We hope you've either done that or you are going to do that. Then post it on our socials and you can win the Joan Crawford Blu-ray prize pack.
How long do people have to do that, Billy Ray?
I would say by tomorrow morning. So just 8 a.m. tomorrow.
8 a.m. Pacific or Eastern or Mountain or Central?
8 a.m. Pacific time.
And are participants in this event eligible, or
anybody who donates is eligible?
Good, because
that is
donated
correct.
Earlier today. So
if you would like to follow us on the socials, you can do it at Scripts Gone Wild. That's where we are across the socials. You could also, if you want to support us, we're on Patreon at patreon.com/Scripts Gone Wild. I want to give another big round of applause for our readers: Charles Busch.
Yes.
Mel Shores.
Delightful.
Josh Grinnell. Aurora Sexton.
Yes.
Rico Anderson.
Woo.
Ryan Howe.
Yay.
And Sugimoto. Chloe Dworkin.
yeah.
Darrin Navarro.
Oh yeah.
Luke Forbes, Not Duck, and our early departed Saxon Murrell Wilkinson, who got hopefully to just watch the rest of the read from the comforts of his home.
He's watching Outer Banks, I'm sure of it. Yeah.
Exactly. Again, thank you guys so much. That was fantastic. And, I couldn't have imagined that going any better with you guys. I thought that was amazing.
Charles, it was a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you so much.